Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of Cad Blocks and Sample files. If you've already watched through the first one, you know that I went through a number of things like the Cad blocks that you can download and the sample files that are available within AutoCAD itself. And I only showed you one way of getting to those files, but the video was getting a little bit long, and I did promise to come back and do some more. So here I am, and let's go and have a look. Now, we were looking before at the open option and going down to explore the sample files, and we had to go into ENUS and Design Center. Design Center is where a lot of this stuff, particularly these blocks, are, and I ended up bringing in welding. I just said okay. So I accepted it, and there we are. We got all these symbols. Okay, so that's all well and good. And just say that I brought that into an existing drawing, or I open this up and then I want to assemble something, then use some of these files. That's great, but am I going to use every single one of these files on here? You've seen the size of some of those other block sets. I don't want all of that on a drawing. And you might think, well, the easiest way is just to come around here, take off the ones I don't want, leave myself a single fillet weld, and that's it. That's all I need, right? Now I can start doing my drawing. Well, yes and no. It would be possible, but if I go up here to the block section and go to Insert and click, that's not what's left on this drawing. Any blocks or anything like that reside inside of your drawing sheet. Okay? Now, even though you can't see them, they're there and they can be put in. Now, there's a problem once you get 2, 3, 4 different things that you want to put on. Maybe I'm doing a design for a building and I've got steel work on there, so I want my welding symbols. On the same drawing, I've got my electrical layout, I've got my plumbing layout, I've got all those extra libraries of blocks. They're all going to come up in this drawing. Maybe that's not really what I want. And if for some reason I've inherited a block like this and it's full of stuff because I have to scroll down through every single time I want to get to a particular block, how do I get rid of the ones I don't want? Well, that one's pretty simple, and just let me get rid of that one as well, and I'll show you. Okay, the command we use to get rid of blocks, because we've deleted them but they're still there, is purge. Purge, and then enter. And it will come up with this little purge dialog box, and you'll see on the top there, I've only got one of these groups, but it will take out extra text styles, table styles, all of this stuff, multi-leader styles, layers, groups, as well as blocks. And the bits we want to get rid of, we can just purge them. So I'm going to open up where it says blocks, because I've got a little plus mark there. And yep, they're all still there. Now you can see that they've self-selected because I clicked on blocks. All of those is what we want to get rid of. Okay, so I'm going to look at purge checked items. I then purge all checked items. And you can see that I've no longer got a plus mark up there, and the blocks now are completely empty. Just to check that, I'm going to go back up to the block area, click on Insert, and there's nothing there. Okay, so we've successfully got rid of that whole page of blocks. Now, just warning you now, we are not in our original new drawing file. Remember how we got in. We are still in the welding drawing. Okay, so really, we need to close that. There we go. And yeah, I don't even want it on there. Let me get rid of that completely. So I'm just going to remove it from my list. What about if I open up a new one? And instead of open up that welding file, I want to import particular symbols, not all of them, just one or two, into this drawing file, which is my drawing file, the one that I've set up with my units and everything else. Is there a way of doing that? Well, if I go back up to Insert, there's definitely nothing there. So I really need to get through to that area where I got those blocks from. Now, that was the design center, right? What about if we typed in design center? And there it is, design center, add center for a shortcut. Yep, they're there. Okay, so I can just minimize that for a second. You can see that I've got the plant process one, I've got pipe fittings one, I've got landscape one, got all of the ones that we saw that were inside of that folder. I'll go back to my welding for a second, and then you can see that I've got blocks. I've got dimension and styles, I've got layers, layouts. Well, I want the blocks. So let me just double click, and sure enough, there they are. Now, they're sitting there right now. They're still in the design center. If I hover over my insert, there's nothing there, okay? Now, what if I just want that one? I don't want the whole pack. I don't want to end up having to flush them all out with the Purge command. I double click it. And if I double click it, it comes up with that one file. And the most important thing to remember is that other people might be making these drawings. They might be made in a different area with a different standard unit. These could be done in millimeters. Okay, so over on the right hand side, before you get to the symbol, look down there where it says block unit. Now, I know that my drawings are set up in inches. These things are coming in inches. If you find that you want to be doing something in millimeters, then maybe you need to think about the factor of getting it from an inch to a millimeter. Okay, so we need to look at what size it's going to be drawn. But yes, make sure that you're in the right units, and then there's always a factor if you want to scale up, scale down, and you can even play with the way that it looks on screen by playing with some of the uniform scale. You can scale it up and scale it down directly from there. Okay, so I can say OK, and there we are. I've got one symbol, and I click, I drop it on screen. And then let me just shut that down for a second, but it's very easy to get back there. There is my little reference line with my weld symbol and my tail where I can put my information in. Okay, now if I go up to blocks, do I have all of those? No, I just got the one that I wanted, the one that I needed to go in this drawing. So you can see that is a far better way of getting some of those blocks from the design center into here. Now, do you really want to go typing down there all the time? Is there no shortcut to it? Well, actually, yeah, there's normally 3 or 4 different ways of getting to everything in AutoCAD. And you will migrate towards using one way or another. So let me have a look in view. And let me go across to this part over here. And you can see that in palettes, this bottom left of that little block of 6 is the design center. Now, can you see what it says below it as well? If I just typed in add center, the same block will come up. But if I click this one, there we are. We're back to the design center, and we have access to all of the blocks, all the sheet sets, all the mechanical samples, and yeah, these are drawings. Okay, so you can have a look through all of these, and remember, you can import a whole drawing into another drawing using the block command, and that is the next thing that we'll be looking into, and then the creation, management, editing, etc., and even the attributes that can be applied to blocks when you're inserting them in a drawing. Okay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 3.